and welcome. I'm Geeta Mohan and you're watching World Today. Now, when Pakistan was shaken with India's military prowess and forced to concede, one man pulled a surprise and claimed credit for it: Donald Trump. The opposition has questioned US President Donald Trump's claim that India and Pakistan decided to stop fighting only after he threatened to cut trade ties with both the countries. Referring to US President Donald Trump's remarks made minutes before Prime Minister Modi's public address, senior Congress leader Pawan Khera said that he was taken aback by Prime Minister's silence on the matter throughout the speech. Now, government sources have told India Today TV that trade did not feature in separate conversations between Prime Minister Modi and US Vice President J.D. Vance and External Affairs Minister when he spoke with Secretary of State Rubio ahead of the India-Pakistan understanding. Meanwhile, Indian government has reiterated its resolve against those who threaten India's sovereignty and said India would respond if Pakistan fired on it. The government said Pakistan's military capabilities were significantly degraded by India and key air bases were effectively put out of action. The government also spoke about the evidence it has on the 22nd of April Pahalgam terror attack and said that the resistance front and an offshoot of the Lashkar-e-Taiba took responsibility for it. Besides, Prime Minister Modi, in his address to the nation, reaffirmed the fight against terrorism and has said it won't give in to nuclear blackmail or allow cross-border terrorism.
We helped a lot, and we helped also with trade. I said, come on, we're going to do a lot of trade with you guys. Let's stop it. Let's stop it. If you stop it, we're doing trade. If you don't stop it, we're not going to do any trade. People have never really used trade the way I used it. That I can tell you. And all of a sudden they said, I think we're going to stop. We did some great things with trade with India and Pakistan. It really helped the situation, very heated situation. Could have lost millions of people, more than millions. I mean, many millions of people. And they want to do business with America, but we never used our powers that way. We never knew how. We never had people that knew how to do that.
From the time of Operation Sindoor, commenced on 7th May, till the understanding on cessation of firing and military action on 10th May, there were conversations between Indian and US leaders on the evolving military situation. The issue of trade did not come up in any of these discussions.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Adampur airbase was not just to boost morale, but to drop facts. As chants of Vande Mataram echoed across the airstrip, Prime Minister Modi reiterated how India has decimated Pakistani air bases in Operation Sindoor. Even though Pakistan tries damage control through denial, satellite images reveal the truth. For more on this, watch our next report.
As Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid a surprise visit to the Adampur Air Base on May 13th, one image stood out, demolishing Pakistan's disinformation campaign in one stroke. It showed Prime Minister waving at Jawans with a MiG-29 fighter jet and a fully intact S-400 air defense system right behind him. It was the very system Pakistan claimed to have hit. No smoke, no wreckage, just proof, framed and undeniable. Prime Minister Modi was calm, composed and called out Pakistan's bluff. As Vande Mataram echoed across the airstrip, Modi was not just there to thank the Air Force. He was fact-checking Pakistan in real time. While Pakistan spun fiction, satellites captured the facts. Exclusive images accessed by India Today network reveal a trail of destruction across 6 major Pakistani air bases. Sukur aircraft shelters reduced to rubble. Rahim Yar Khan, a 43-foot wide crater, gouged into its only runway. in Mushav Sargodha, 2 craters and charred military trucks at what Pakistan calls its Air Force crown jewel. At Noor Khan, just 10 kilometers from Pakistan's military headquarters, vital transport aircraft were struck. Jacobabad, once a NATO stronghold, saw hangars and possible F-16 support facilities hit. And Bholari, a modern PAF base housing AEWACs, showed signs of precision damage to hangars likely sheltering radar planes. They were coordinated, high-precision retaliatory strikes launched in response to Pakistan's failed intrusion. Bureau Report, India Today.
US President Donald Trump embarks on one of the most important visits to the Gulf region of Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar. Amid escalating tensions between Israel and Palestine, the visit to Middle East, or what we call West Asia, is being seen as a crucial one, with Trump eyeing huge investments from the oil-rich region. The 2 leaders of Saudi Arabia and the US have signed economic and bilateral cooperation agreements. Watch this.
The U.S.-Saudi relationship has been a bedrock of security and prosperity. Today we reaffirm this important bond, and we take the next steps to make our relationship closer, stronger, and more powerful than ever before. It is more powerful than ever before. And by the way, it will remain that way. We don't go in and out like other people. It will remain that way. I want to make a deal with Iran. If I can make a deal with Iran, I'll be very happy if we're going to make your region and the world a safer place. But if Iran's leadership rejects this olive branch and continues to attack their neighbors, then we will have no choice but to inflict massive maximum pressure, drive Iranian oil exports to zero, like I did before, and take all action required to stop the regime from ever having a nuclear weapon. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon.
When the Middle East is embroiled in the ongoing Israeli-Palestine conflict and a growing threat of Iran's nuclear program looms large, a 4-day visit of US President Donald Trump to the Gulf regions of Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar holds significance. Trump's first major diplomatic visit during his second term to the Middle East, barring Israel, focuses more on securing trillions of dollars in investments rather than security issues. Accompanied by who's who of business, along with billionaire Elon Musk, Trump punched the air in show of solidarity as he emerged from Air Force One, greeted with a smile by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The visit is also important as prices of crude oil is recovering after a 90-day pause declared and slashed in tariffs following US-China trade talks. Trump hopes to secure trillions of dollars of investments from the Gulf oil producers. Saudi Arabia had pledged $600 billion, but Trump has said that he wants $1 trillion from the kingdom, one of Washington's most important strategic partners. Saudi Arabia has been attempting to diversify the kingdom's economy in a major reform program dubbed Vision 2030 that includes giga projects such as NEOM, a futuristic city the size of Belgium. But it had to scale back some of its lofty ambitions with rising costs and falling oil prices. Saudi Arabia and the US have maintained strong ties for decades based on an ironclad arrangement in which the kingdom delivers oil and the superpower provides security. According to Reuters, Trump is expected to offer Saudi Arabia an arms package worth more than $100 billion. Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, said he expected to expand the Abraham Accords, a set of deals brokered by Trump in its first term by which Arab states including the UAE, Bahrain and Morocco recognize Israel. But Riyadh's progress in the deal is unlikely as the kingdom supports Palestine's demand for a separate state. Trump also said he may travel on Thursday to Turkey for potential talks between Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky on Russia's war in Ukraine. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, experts see the visit significant as there is a major shift in Trump's foreign policy and his choice of West Asia, the Middle East, as his first visit to any country during his second term. He chose Saudi Arabia even during his first term.
It is a significant but not altogether surprising choice of destination for President Donald Trump. It's significant because, as you rightly mentioned, this is his first planned visit. He did go to attend the Pope's funeral, but this was his first planned visit in his second term, and it was also the same choice of destination as his first term. And I think President Donald Trump has already brought about quite a lot of disruption and change to U.S. foreign policy, and I think we're seeing part of that being reflected in his choice of foreign travel and his choice of destination. But to my mind, it's not altogether surprising because, in a sense, the Gulf states tick all the right boxes for President Donald Trump. So the GCC, the 6 Arab Gulf states as a bloc, run a trade deficit or overall have a balanced trading relationship with the US. That's very important to President Trump. These 6 countries buy a lot of US weapons as well. And they have promised to invest collectively over $2 trillion into the U.S. economy. And so these are countries that run a balanced trading relationship. They buy a lot of weapons and they pledge to invest a lot of money into the U.S. economy. And these are all things that matter very much to President Donald Trump's economic agenda, both at home and abroad. These countries have also become significant partners for President Trump's foreign policy agenda. So this is someone who came into office pledging to put an end to a lot of the conflicts, be they in the Middle East, in Gaza, or in Ukraine. And Saudi Arabia has hosted Russia-Ukraine war talks. Oman has hosted U.S. Houthi ceasefire negotiations. And they've also hosted multiple rounds of U.S.-Iran talks to put a lid on Iran's nuclear program. And of course, Qatar continues to play an important mediating role in Gaza. So not only are these states positioning themselves economically vis-a-vis the Trump administration, they've also managed to make themselves quite important to President Trump's foreign policy agenda as well. The Trump Organization, which President Donald Trump suggests is sort of separate in the sense that he doesn't exercise a direct role in overseeing, but nevertheless, I think reflects the broad business and commercial interests of his family and some of his close relatives. So the Trump Organization has significant business interests in the Gulf. The Trump Organization already runs a luxury golf course in Dubai. It's partnering with a Saudi-based and Qatari-based real estate investment firms to build luxury golf courses and luxury hotels in multiple Gulf countries, including Saudi Arabia, Oman, Qatar, and the UAE. Jared Kushner has been able, who's President Trump's son-in-law, has been able to raise billions in capital for his investment outfit, Affinity Partners, over $1.4 billion just last year. And of course, President Trump's sort of broad cryptocurrency venture has also managed to secure an investment pledge from the UAE. So in a sense, I think there is an alignment in the Trump family's business interests, along with the broad geopolitical and geoeconomic alignment of interests between what the Trump administration is trying to do and the Arab Gulf states. This is part of the Gulf states, I think, toolkit of economic statecraft. Washington, D.C. is a place where many different countries and stakeholders compete for influence, and they do so in various ways. And this is one way, I think, that countries in this part of the world are able also to exert themselves on the political agenda in Washington, D.C.
Now, Donald Trump is also set to visit Qatar, but controversy follows. Reports claim he accepted a luxurious Boeing 747-8 jet from the Qatari government, sparking outrage. But can U.S. presidents legally accept such lavish gifts from foreign powers? Federal law says no, unless Congress approves it. As questions swirl about ethics and influence, Trump's Qatar trip is grabbing global headlines. Is this diplomacy or a dangerous precedent? Watch this explosive report that unpacks the politics, the jet, and the firestorm it's ignited.
In what sounds more like a scene from a satirical Netflix series than real-world diplomacy, US President Donald Trump is under fire again. This time for accepting a Boeing 747-8 nicknamed a palace in the sky from the Qatari government. The plane, decked out like a five-star hotel with wings, is supposedly a temporary Air Force One. Ethic watchdogs are raising alarm bells, with some branding the situation as a blatant violation of the US Constitution's Emoluments Clause. This is often overlooked, but crucial provision explicitly prohibits sitting presidents from accepting gifts or favors from foreign states without the express consent of Congress.
The real danger here is that this other country, Qatar, has given him this appears that it is going to be giving him this very valuable gift, this huge luxury airplane. And that when he makes decisions, whether it's about the Middle East, which is a very volatile region, or about trade deals, that rather than making those decisions based on this analysis of what's in the American people's interest, that he's going to remember that they gave him this great plane that he loves, and that could tip him to make a different decision than he would make otherwise.
Legal experts argue that receiving a $400 million aircraft, even on a temporary basis and on behalf of the Department of Defense, wades deep into murky constitutional waters. That is not alone. That is a love letter, quipped one ethic analyst, summing up the incredulity shared by many. While Trump has defended the move by suggesting the jet will eventually serve as a historical exhibit in his future presidential library, the optics have struck a nerve across party lines. As questions mount over the legality and propriety of the arrangement, one thing is clear: this jet fuel scandal is poised to remain in the headlines. Whether it is a diplomatic misstep or just another chapter in the never-ending Trump saga, it is already soaring into legal and political turbulence. Bureau Report, India Today.
Hassan Al-Hassan also weighed in on what it means for President Trump to really receive a gift of a jet from Qatar. Listen in.
In a sense, that will be up to the Americans and to the U.S. system, really, to decide whether it's appropriate for the U.S. president to be accepting gifts of this nature from a foreign country. I think from Qatar's perspective, Qatar recognizes that the United States, I think, is a very significant defense and security partner for Doha. It also recognizes that I think its reputation has suffered in Washington, D.C., partly because of the extremely polarized nature with which the Palestinian issue has been essentially viewed and discussed and deliberated on in the U.S., especially around university campuses and so on. And so I think from the Qatari perspective, it's an attempt at currying favor with the Trump administration and with President Trump himself, who ultimately is the leader of the most powerful country in the world. So I think from the Qatari standpoint, they will do whatever it is they can to, I think, solidify and strengthen that relationship for their own interests. And then obviously it's up to President Trump and the wider US system to decide whether this is something that they would be willing to accept.
And here's that segment where we tell you why Trump is going viral in Viral POTUS.
US President Donald Trump's memes went viral on social media after he announced ceasefire between India and Pakistan. Trump was everywhere on social media, wearing a turban, photoshopped in Bollywood movies, hailed as Sardar Donald Singh Trump for his short-lived role as a peacemaker. Trump's long night of talks while announcing the ceasefire between India and Pakistan has sparked a flood of memes and hilarious commentary on social media. What began as a formal statement by the US president has quickly turned into a meme fest, with users coming up with their own long night of talks versions, with many featuring Trump himself. Trump's video snapping back at a reporter during a fiery White House exchange over a $400 jet gifted by Qatar has gone viral. When reporter asked whether the luxury aircraft was a personal gift, Trump mocked the question, calling it stupid, and likened the donation to a free golf foot.
Mr. President, what do you say to people who view that luxury jet as a personal gift to you? Why not leave it behind?
You're ABC fake news, right?
Why not?
It's only ABC. Well, a few of you would. Let me tell you, you should be embarrassed asking that question. They're giving us a free jet. I could say, no, don't give us. I want to pay you $1 billion or 400 million or whatever it is. Or I could say, thank you very much. That was a great election.
Trump's first comment while meeting the newly elected Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney was a bold joke, instantly causing Carney to burst into laughter. The moment quickly went viral, with Carney's priceless reaction capturing widespread attention.
Prime Minister Mark Carney with us. As you know, just a few days ago, he won a very big election in Canada. And I think I was probably the greatest thing that happened to him, but I can't take vote credit. His party was losing by a lot, and he ended up winning, so I really want to congratulate him. It was probably one of the greatest comebacks in the history of politics, maybe even greater than mine.
That's all in this edition of World Today. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and take care.